for the so people are just telling people to go out and buy Sosana tokens. They're doing that. They're getting all the way to the end of the enrollment process, and then they're getting this message that says transaction was blocked by wallet or transaction was rejected by wallet. They can't figure it out. They're like, I have enough tokens, but you don't have any Solana for the gas. You don't need a lot. You know, I mean, it might only cost you 12 cents or 25 cents from the. But you do need a few dollars worth of Solana. So just make sure that if you see that, somebody calls you up in a panic saying, I'm so frustrated, my wallet keeps rejecting it, what's going on? First question, do you have any Solana? And that's going to solve a lot of the frustration very quickly. So just want to say that kind of public service before you
no problem. Yep, good. Okay, so again, welcome everybody. Let's go ahead and get the call started. I'm going to record it, as always.
Recording in progress.
All right, welcome everybody. All of you that are live, welcome. Those of you listening to the recording and all you new members, welcome to the Sosana family. We're just getting started. I know we've been in development for a while, but I want to kind of give you guys a clue that I've got something a little bit special for you tonight because, as you know, success doesn't really happen overnight. It just looks like it. You know, like when you first heard of Apple computers, you probably thought, wow, what an amazing success story. They just showed up out of nowhere. Trust me, they didn't show up out of nowhere. They were in development for years. Or Google, years in development. Amazon, years and years in development. I'm going to give you guys some stats real quick. Amazon was an IPO in 1997, and their first actual profitable year was like 2001. So it took them like 4 years, think about it, to really be what you would consider a profitable or successful company. But what did they have? They had a vision, and they knew, and the people that were part of that, you know, that not just Jeff Bezos, but all the people that were there helping him make that vision happen. And I guarantee you there were times when they came out with their IPO and they looked at their chart and they said, man, once people find out about this, that it's just going to go crazy. It's going to be amazing. And once we develop this, we start, you know, once we get to a place where we're not just selling books, that we become this marketplace. See, they knew that they had a vision to not only just sell books, but eventually become a marketplace. And now everybody knows what Amazon is, right? And it went 4 years of just development and all that time. And you know, people, of course, that were holding their stock were looking at the chart, thinking, I don't know what I'm going to do with this thing. You know, should I hold it? Should I not? I mean, I remember when I got into Facebook, okay, Facebook stock, they went public. I believe I bought that stock for about $40 a share. And as soon as I bought it, I think the next week it went to like $21. And I just started thinking, man, did I make a mistake? What am I doing? I remember I called my dad and told him about it. He goes, yeah, just hold on to it, man. They'll come back. That's just because my dad, you know, he knew a lot more than I did when it came to investing. That was really the first stock that I ever bought. And I didn't listen to him, you know, because week after week after week, I kept watching it. It just didn't really go anywhere. Like, and think about it. Looking back, look at what Facebook is today. And you can't even imagine looking back then and thinking that their stock was just sitting there doing nothing, right? You're just like, how's that possible, right? When you really think about that, because things don't happen overnight. What happens is you get enough momentum from what we call critical mass, where enough eyeballs, enough people see what you're doing, and it just starts to go viral. Like that's what happens. Now, on a micro scale, that's where we're at with Sosana right now. We are so on the cusp of the vision becoming a reality. We're going to have our first come this Saturday, right? You guys are going to be voting this Saturday. Some of you that have been with us for the last 5 months are like, wow, it's actually happening. It's almost surreal, isn't it? Some of you have been with us for 10 months. And you're like, wow. I mean, if you're like me, you're like pinching yourself like, is this real? Is this actually happening? Like, it's an amazing thing because we know when it happens and we go from one election to the next election, that we know at some point we're going to hit that tipping point, and it is. It's just going to go viral. That's what's going to happen. We know that. And I'm going to talk about that and why here in a second, especially for you new people that are listening. But I want you to kind of just think about that when you really look at our chart. Because one of the things you'll do, I'm going to share the screen really quick. This is the elephant in the room, our chart. When you look at our chart, this is the daily chart, okay? And if you stretch that out, you think, wow, it's been a while since it's really done a lot. We saw a big jump, and this jump, excuse me, happened whenever we brought out the affiliate plan, and we basically gave you guys a hard date and all this stuff. So good news, right? Good news started to travel fast. This is an excellent sign, by the way. This means the community's still paying attention. And then you see profit taking, and then you see everybody waiting again. But what this is this is emotions. Like what you're looking at when you're looking at a chart is usually an emotional interpretation of what people think or feel or whatever. And so there's always going to be that uncertainty before things explode, before everything just takes off. But I always tell people not to look at the daily, not to get caught up in that. Remember how I told you guys that you always want to live in the present moment, except when it comes to investing. When it comes to investing, you should always believe in what you're going to do, like really learn and understand what you're investing in. And I'm not just saying for Sosana, I'm saying in anything in general. Always know what you're investing in, and then make a decision based on what you believe long term, not what's happening in the moment, okay? So I want to switch this over to a monthly chart. The chart actually looks pretty good on a monthly if you think about it. We've got a cup that formed. You see this cup? They call that a cup. That's actually a really bullish sign, and it really looks good on the monthly chart. So if you're going to look at this, I don't recommend looking at the chart much at all. I really don't. I mean, you guys probably don't believe me, but I don't look at the chart that much because I know that it's the price that we're at right now is just irrelevant to me. You guys all know that I believe this is a multi-billion-dollar company in the making project, right? This crypto project. You guys already know that. That's what I believe. And I'll make a really good case for that here in a second. If you guys are new, you're going to be really excited about what I'm going to share with you. But I want to just kind of look at some of these companies that I pulled it up on ChatGPT. Look at this, okay? Amazon 1997 wasn't profitable for 4 years. Netflix took 1 to 2 years, right? From 2003. They were an IPO in 2002. And listen, before they were an IPO, they have a story. They didn't just show up and all of a sudden were public, Look at Apple, though. Can you believe this? They were an IPO in 1980. They had lots of development before they were an IPO. And then look, 18 years before they had any major sustained success. 18 years. Wow. That's holding on, isn't it? That's holding on to a vision is what that is. But the reason I'm showing you that, look at this Walmart. You guys have all heard of Walmart, right? National success, late 70s. It took them 7 to 8 years before they had any real success. Dell Computers, they say 0 to 2 years, but we'll just say 2 years at least because, again, they weren't an IPO in 1998 after doing nothing. They didn't just show up as an IPO, right? Even Tesla, take a look at this. Tesla, IPO 2010. Seriously? The electric car king? And now it took them 10 years before they really imagined or before what was it trying to say? Not imagine. Before their success became a reality, right? NVIDIA, you guys have all heard of NVIDIA, right? One of the biggest companies out there having to do with, I think, AI and stuff like that. Major success took them 4 to 5 years, right? They were an IPO in 1999, right? So just think about that whenever you're really looking at an opportunity and you're thinking about when you look at this crypto vision, there's a lot of people out there that are thinking about the chart too much. Don't think about the chart. The chart will take care of itself. Okay, what we're going to do, we're going to do business here, and we're going to bring the crypto industry the number one solution to the number one problem in crypto, shiny object syndrome. What does Sosana stand for? Shiny object syndrome and nothing accomplished. And let me tell you something. Shiny object syndrome and nothing accomplished is an epidemic in crypto. Most people, that is what they experience in crypto as investors, as people looking for quality projects. They can't find these needles in a haystack anymore. It's not like 2017 or even 2020, right? We're in 2026, and there are literally thousands of new projects popping up every single day just on the Solana network alone, the Solana blockchain alone. So I want you to realize that's the biggest problem because people can't even find quality projects anymore. And by the time they find them late. Because what is the number one goal of every real crypto gem finder? Someone is really looking for gems. Someone is really looking for great opportunities. What's the number one goal? They want to, number one, find a quality project, and they want to find it before everyone else does, right? That's the number one goal. What is Sosana going to bring to the table? We're going to bring to the table a way with a community effort that allows you to do just that, to find quality projects before the world finds out about them. How? Well, as we come together as a safe haven community, we have one goal in mind, to find quality projects. Now, that was a goal that every investor had in mind before they even joined Sosana, before they had anything to do with our community. That was their goal. But now they're coming together in a safe haven, and we're going to enable them with a tool, with a mechanism that's going to allow them to do that in the best way we believe is even possible. And here's how it works. As you guys know, and for those of you that are new, you guys already know that every single crypto project in the world, every one of them, they are offering you either a token or a coin. If they're Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, they're layer ones. There's lots of layer ones out there. They're a coin. And if they're a project that's being built on that blockchain, they're a token. Okay. And what are you trying to do? You're trying to get that token at the earliest time possible. You're trying to find the next Bitcoin. You're trying to find the next Ethereum. That's what everybody's trying to do. The next Doge, the next Pepe, the next fart coin. You're probably going to laugh when I say that, but you know what? There were millionaires made from fart coin. Okay. And so I just want you to think about this. Yeah, I knew, Professor, I knew you're going to sound off a little bit on that one. But in any case, and Professor, if you want to share your video, I'm going to allow you to do that. Go ahead and share your video. Go ahead. I'm sorry I didn't do that sooner. And you, Keith, you can share your video too, buddy. But the bottom line is this, okay? That when you're looking for quality projects right now, it is a needle in a haystack. There are so many shiny objects. So we created a mechanism for our community. Not only that, we created a safe haven for what we believe is investors to come in and exponentially, not guaranteed, not financial advice, but are exponentially have greater chances of finding quality projects and finding them before the world does. And here's how. We have what's called a 3% transaction. And what I'm explaining to you right now is why Sosana is more than just a token like everybody else is, or more than just a coin if you're a layer one like everybody else is. Because what do? You buy those tokens or coins and you just hope that they go up, and then eventually you sell them, and now you're off looking for another project. And that's not what's going to happen at Sosana. That's not going to happen. Here's why. That 3% tax is crucial. It's important. Now, the professor says one thing about that 3% tax, because nobody likes taxes, but what do you think about the taxes, Professor?
Sosana taxes.
You love them, and here's why. Because that 3% tax, rather than you getting taxed, because whether you know it or not, if you buy a token project, especially on Solana, if they don't have any way of taxing those transactions, you're going to get taxed anyway because of all the trading bots. Trading bots won't touch Sosana because we have a 3% tax, and they're not going to want to pay the tax, okay? But you're going to want to pay it. Here's why. Because we turn that tax around to your benefit. 1% goes to a stability wallet. The purpose of the stability wallet is to help maintain stability in the project, okay? It's working in your best interest to help the token be as stable as we can make it at some point. And of course, that's off into the future. The second reason is for marketing. Okay, there's 1/2 of 1% of every single transaction. Remember, that means buys, sells, even transfers. Every single transaction is going to go into that 0.5% into what we call marketing. Now, as you guys know, if we get out there and we use those funds for marketing, that's going to obviously be in your best interest, right? Because marketing is going to bring more attention to the project. Now, those two things are not revolutionary. Those things have existed before. But what I'm about to explain to you is that 3%. This is what's revolutionary, where 1% of every single transaction, buy, sell, or transfer, goes into what we call a degen voter pool. It's like a wallet, okay? What that means is that every time a person spends $100, $1 goes into it. If they spend $1,000, $10 goes into it. If they spend $1 million, $10,000 goes into it. So this is volume that comes into the company. I'm going to show you what I mean by volume here in a second. Towards the end, I'll show you. But the bottom line is this wallet is there for rewards, and here's how it works. If you hold $500 in Sosana as a community member, you are then qualified to nominate your favorite project on the Solana, blockchain, on the network. Okay, so that means that if you're a member, now again, this isn't pay to play, this is hold to play. That means you're not going to spend money to try to make money. You're going to hold the Sosana token, believing in this project, and then you're going to go out, you're going to try to find your favorite project on the Solana ecosystem. Now, you might be thinking right now, I don't know anything about that. What do I know about researching projects and nominating tokens? Well, first off, we are going to educate you, okay, on a consistent basis. As part of our community, we're going to educate you more and more and more to be the best Sosana community member you can be by helping you learn to nominate projects. But trust me when I tell you, we already have a lot of people in our community right now. They have connections. They've been investing for years. They know how to find quality projects, and they're going to be bringing them to the table. So if you're holding $500, you can nominate your favorite project. If you're holding $50, you can then qualify to vote on those nominated projects. And here's how it works. Each cycle has a 2-week phase. Now, as I told you, our very first election, we're going to make history, Sosana. Our very first election is coming up this Saturday. So starting 7 p.m. Saturday Eastern Time, all of the people holding $50 or more in Sosana are going to be able to connect their wallet to the DApp, okay, the decentralized application. They're going to be able to go in there, and they're going to see 25 nominated projects in no certain order. 25 projects. Where do they come from? They come from our pre-qualifying algorithm that is patented. Well, it's not patented, but it's proprietary. And it's actually our way of making sure, at least our best attempt at putting out the most quality 25 projects that have been nominated through the community. That's the purpose of it, because we know eventually we're going to have hundreds of nominations. We know that. But we also know that you guys don't have time to do the research on 1,000 nominations. You don't have time for it. So currently, this may change, but currently it's limited to just 25 projects. That gives you time, 48 hours, to look at those projects and decide which one you think is the most quality project. Now, remember, I could stop right there. I could just end it. And already we're doing something that's never been done in crypto history. We're actually giving people an opportunity to come together as a community and do what? Solve the shiny object syndrome problem and help everybody find quality projects. And that alone has its own merit, has its own value. But let me tell you where the magic happens. Let me tell you how we're going to allow the community to get rewarded for this process. And here's how it works. Remember, 7 p.m. they're going to come in. Now, they're also going to see the DGen wallet, and they're going to see how big it is. And we know that this is what we believe, not financial advice, but this is what we think is going to happen. As we have more and more elections, we believe the DGen wallet, which is taking in 1% of all buy and sell transactions, is going to get bigger, bigger, and bigger. And that DGen wallet is there for one purpose, for the community to decide which one of those 25 projects that the DGen wallet is going to buy. Let me repeat that. The DGen wallet is going to buy the token that the community chooses for it to buy. Now think about the synergy that that's going to create. Just think about that for a second. Pause for a second. Just think, what would happen if the community got together and decided to take 1% of every single transaction that ever came in and use that money to buy another token? Wow. And here's what happens. If you're one of the people that voted for the winning token, the one that wins the election, the one that receives the most votes, you're going to get airdropped from that transaction. So people are going to buy, not people, but the DGen wallet is going to buy the token on the decentralized exchange, and then it's going to airdrop it to you if you voted for the winning token. You know why that's so incredible? Not just because you're going to be able to earn a reward just for being a part of the process, but it's also going to weed out and really refine the process of finding quality projects, because it motivates every single voter to vote for the most quality project, because that's the one they think is going to win. Now think about that. Isn't that a refining process to help us find the most quality project? And if you think about it, just by being a member of the community and voting and being a part of this process, I really believe you're going to find projects that you never would have found otherwise had you not been a member of Sosana. And you're going to have an opportunity to add those projects to your portfolio. But let me tell you something else that happens that's really special, because what I just explained to you has never happened in history. That's special. It's incredible. It's amazing. It's what's going to make this thing go viral. But here's another thing that's going to make it go viral. We have what we believe is going to be a tipping point. Now, we don't know when it'll happen, but we know at some point the community is going to grow large enough and there's going to be so many transactions that come in that the degen pool is going to get bigger and bigger. And then it's going to reach a point at some point where the community votes for a particular project with a low enough market cap. And that degen pool is going to be so big that it's going to have a massive impact on that particular project that the community votes for. Can you imagine? Isn't that awesome? I mean, people are going to be wanting to come back every 2 weeks just to watch it happen. It's going to be amazing. But when we hit that tipping point, remember, we reveal the winning token project at 7 p.m. Eastern. But it's not until 8 p.m. Eastern that the wallet actually purchases the token. Now, I'm going to get into that tipping point by bringing out Brian, because Brian always does an incredible job of explaining the tipping point and the synergy that brings. Brian, why don't you come on out?
Thanks, man. And first of all, as always, thanks for the excellent job of kind of laying the foundation of what we have here and the timing of what it is. And I wrote it down yesterday when you said, I love this. It's not pay to play, it's hold to play. Because I get that question from people so many times. So, so I have to pay $50 to vote. I have to pay $500 to nominate. No, hold it. You simply hold it in your wallet. And as long as you're holding, it could be the same $50 worth of Sosana that you're holding every 2 weeks, right? And it allows you to vote over and over and over and over again. So you're not actually spending anything. You're simply holding the token. And if you guys know anything about what drives up the value of tokens, it's more buy pressure than sell pressure. So if you have a lot of people buying, you have also a lot of people holding. Well, you don't have as many people selling. You have a price that continues to go up and go up and go up. And that's just the basic way that it works, the basic tokenomics of how these projects work. Now, what Mark just said to you, though, was pretty critical. And because I know that every time we explain this story to people, the first time it's so subtle that most people miss it. What they hear is, wow, that's a pretty cool thing. I can hold $50, I can vote, and maybe I could win, some valuable tokens, right? If there's $100,000 in a degen voter wallet and 100 people vote for the right token, when we buy at 8 o'clock, we'll buy $100,000 of that token at one token XYZ, and we will airdrop it evenly into the wallets of the winner. So if there were 100 people that voted for it, every single one would get $1,000 worth of that token. That's awesome, right? I mean, they could keep that token in. They could actually watch it grow in their portfolio since they got it for essentially nothing, just doing some research in a proper vote, but no dollars out of their pocket. Or they could sell it right then, for the market price and put $1,000 in their pocket. They have all of these different options that they could go through. And as Mark said, even if that was all we did, that would still be great, right? People would say, hey, I'll come participate every couple of weeks. I'll hold $50 to have a shot every couple of weeks of getting some free tokens, free money, potentially not only just free tokens, but free tokens in a project that has passed through the crowdsourced intelligence crucible of the Sosana family, right? Where people were willing to go out there to find the right projects to nominate by looking at the red flags versus the green lights. And then they were able to bring it to the community, and the community was able to give it a second look and say, amongst all 25 of these quality projects, this one is the best. That is probably something you want to hold in your portfolio. But here's the real magic, guys. The real magic is that even if you didn't vote for the right project, it's still not over for you. Because at 7 o'clock, you're going to see, if you're holding $50 in your wallet, you're going to see what token won. So imagine this for a second. We have $100,000 in our degen voter wallet, right? And you see that token XYZ won. And now it's 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern when you're getting this information, and that at 8 o'clock, there's going to be $100,000 purchase of that winning token that we are going to make. Now, I want you to think about that for just a moment, what I said. 1 hour in advance about a huge purchase going into a token 1 hour later. Now, if you guys know anything about crypto at all, or just anything about stocks or anything, just what do you think happens to the price of a token when a big purchase comes in on that token? I'm asking you the question because legally, for some reason, we're not allowed to say it because it's implied as a guarantee. And I understand attorneys are watching. and we don't want to do anything wrong that would ever get the project, in trouble. But you guys can figure out on your own, right? Your brain can start to percolate. I see some of the emojis that people are sending up the screen. You guys know what's probably going to happen to that token. And here's the thought: if you really thought that was going to happen, if you really thought that, hey, with the $100,000 purchase going into this token, this price is probably going to go in a positive northward direction, right? If you thought that was going to happen and you had an hour's notice of it happening, what are you very likely to do, right? Now, right now, it's probably hitting you. Wow. Oh, man, that's cool. But you're still not really getting it, right? Because here's the reality. You're not the only person getting that information. Every single person in the Sosana community is going to be given that same information. Everybody holding $50 or more, they'll be able to get that same 1 hour head start ahead of that purchase. And if they believe the same thing that you believe, what do you think they're very likely to do? Guys, I always use the basic numbers. I say, man, just imagine that we have, 10,000 people right at that point that are in our community. And each one of them says, man, you know what? I think it's worth me getting $100 worth of this token, in advance of this big purchase, because I believe that this is a great time to get it because I have some information that pretty much no one else in the world outside of our community will have at that moment. A guarantee of a purchase that's going to happen in an hour, a big purchase into that token. So they go out, you go out, and they all go out and put $100 in. Well, $100 times 10,000 is $1 million. Think about that for a moment. You're excited about a $100,000 purchase happening in an hour because of what you believe that's going to potentially do to the price. What do you think $1 million coming into that token compressed in that hour before the purchase from Sosana at the top of the hour will also do to the price, right? So this is why people are excited, because if you think about it that way, there's really not going to be any losers, right? I mean, hey, if you vote for the right token and you get rewarded that way, awesome. Congratulations for you. But even if you don't vote for the right token, even if for some reason you're holding $50 and you just didn't, you forgot to vote, period, you can still log into the DApp, connect with the DApp at 7 o'clock, find out which token won, see the size of the DGen voter wallet, and you can still take the action that you think makes the most sense for you and your family, right? And a lot of people are going to do that. And I'll tell you what, guys, as those stories begin to get out, as more and more people realize exactly what it is we're doing, as they start to understand the value of this crowdsourced intelligence model, as they start to understand what's happening with the DGen voter pool every 2 weeks, the excitement is going to grow and it's going to start to viral. And as more and more people hear about it, they're going to join the community. They're going to buy our token. As they're buying our token, that creates more volume. As more volume is created, right, that actually builds up the DGen voter wallet. So that gets bigger and bigger. So those Sosana Mondays, every other Monday, are going to get more and more exciting and be more and more impactful, moving towards that tipping point, like Mark talks about. But also, right, think about it. As more people are buying the token because and holding the token because they want to participate, what do you think is happening to the Sosana token price potentially? That's where the excitement comes in. Multiple ways that you can win. You can win by holding our token, right? You can win by sharing our token. We've got an incredible member rewards program that we're not even talking about right now on this call. You can win by voting for the right token, and you can win by simply knowing which token won and taking the appropriate action within that hour. You have all these different ways to win. And finally, you can win by holding those winning tokens in your platform and letting them escalate and potentially grow over time. Because again, they did make it through the crucible of the crowdsourced intelligence model that we have here at Sosana. So a lot of ways for people to win when most people are out there, just basically throwing a dart, at a dartboard. When the dartboard is taped to the side of a Ferrari moving at 100 miles an hour, and wondering why they keep missing, you're going to have the benefit of being in a safe environment, right? That is set up to help you win more frequently and improve your skill set while you are potentially improving your wealth. So we're very excited about that, Mark. I'm glad you gave me an opportunity to share, man. I'm going to throw that back to you, sir.
An opportunity, man. Are you kidding me? We need you, brother. We love having you. So no, the thing is, awesome job as usual, Brian. Professor, I wanted to just bring you out too real quick. What do you got to share tonight? Putting you on the spot, but only because I know you're good at it.
Sosana Mondays, by the way. I like that.
Oh yeah, Sosana Mondays, no doubt.
So, Brian, let me make sure I get this, okay? So there are up to 25 tokens each voting cycle. If I happen to vote for the project that the majority of our community voted for, then I'm going to get a free airdrop at 8 p.m.
That's
Right?
correct. That is correct.
All right. But since there's 25, there's a good chance that I might not vote for the winning one out of 25, right? Even though I'm trying. Okay.
Right.
But at 7 o'clock, an hour before that purchase, I'm going to know what the winning project is.
That is right.
And there's nothing that says I can't go and buy that winning project as a prelude to what's about to happen at 8 o'clock.
Nothing at all. That's correct.
And since I'm looking to build a portfolio, because I missed out on so many of the, Ethereum. A buddy of mine bought it when it was a buck. I missed that train. Now, even though the market is down, I think it's like still $2,500 or whatever. He gets it for $1.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I missed that. So I get to build my own portfolio
That's right.
of all of these assets. And it might be because we get to see all 25 projects that were nominated. Maybe project number 5 wins the vote. But I might also like project number 3 and project number 17. And I might say, hey, let me put a little money there. Let me put a little money on project number 17 and build my own crypto portfolio. Sosana for me becomes my Bitcoin because I missed out on the huge part of Bitcoin. But because I'm in Sosana, I get to build out. Maybe I didn't get Ethereum, but I get my own little Ethereum over here. I get my own little BNB over here. Some of those other projects that I missed out on.
That's
And
right.
so over a year's time, sounds like I had at least 26 opportunities
That's right.
if I just got whatever the winning project was.
That's right. Yep.
But if I add, project 3 and project 17, and then Mark, what happens if I am, we call it an affiliate member. What happens if I'm an affiliate member? Why should I outlay the Sosana to be an affiliate member?
Well, first of all, it's going to give you access to our community hub and education resources, lots of digital information that's going to really help you up your IQ level in crypto. But the most important thing is it's going to give you access to what we call pre-launch voting projects. So you're going to be able to vote on projects that are in pre-launch on the Solana blockchain before they even launch. Okay, so that means as long as you're an affiliate, and of course you want to become a founder because that keeps you from having to pay $249 and then $149 per year, right? That gives you an option to just pay a one-time $99 for life. And then you have access to, this is the reason why I was trying to tell people, as much as, and David has put some unbelievable rich features that are going to continue in the future to develop. But most importantly, I think initially everyone's going to just think it's just a no-brainer to be a member as an affiliate, even if you're not going to build a business, even if you don't think you're going to refer people, which you will, believe me, you will anyway, because you can't keep your mouth shut about it. But what's going to happen is you're going to have access to these pre-launch projects that come out once a month. And these pre-launch projects, this is what's amazing. Every single one of these pre-launch projects will be required to go through a KYC process before they can even introduce themselves to our community. Now think about that. That you talk about a safe haven. That exponentially increases the chances of finding a good quality, safe project with a dev team that really believes in their project, right? And so you're going to get access to that. There's 0.5% of every single transaction that comes in through buys, sells, transfers that goes into that pre-launch voting pool that pays out in Solana. It won't pay out in the native token because that native token is not going to be on the market yet. It's not going to be live. So it's going to pay out the people who vote for that winning project when we hold those elections. Now, we know that that's a little bit down the road. We know that that's not going to come out right away because we've got to build up our community and get to a place where more and more pre-launch projects will want to come to us, right? And it may start off with only 2 or 3 projects a month, 5 or 6 projects, 10 projects, and eventually maybe 20 or 30. But the bottom line is every one of those projects are going to be vying for your vote. They're going to come on, they're going to do AMAs and Zooms, and they're going to try to introduce themselves and show our community why we would want to vote for them. And that's something you're not going to want to miss out.
Oh, I've got my non-pre-launch projects on
Absolutely.
Sosana Mondays.
Correct.
And actually, I've voted for them, starting that Saturday and
Every 2
Sunday.
weeks.
All right. So I've got that happening every 2 weeks. I've got finding out all the other 24 tokens with those regular voting, that any one of those I can add to my portfolio.
Yep.
And now I've got the pre-launch. So that's almost like when you were showing with the Chat GPT and you were showing IPOs.
Mhm.
The average person, usually those IPO type things in the stock market, you've got to be a big boy or big girl, to even know anything about that. Here, I can have just a few a few bucks and participate in any of those projects.
Absolutely.
And I don't have a monthly subscription.
Yep.
I'm not on a
Correct.
monthly auto ship. And
Correct.
if I do the founders piece, it's a one-time 99 and that's it.
That's right.
Why isn't the price of Sosana at $100 now?
Exactly. That's exactly it. And that's one of the best questions you can ask. And it's so possible. Let me share something with you guys real quick. I just want to kind of share. I just pulled up pretty much some random projects here. Okay, these are all you just pick any of them, but look at some of these volumes. Now, keep in mind this volume right here. This is a field that says volume every 24 hours. So I don't know what some of these projects are. I have no idea. I've never heard of them. I don't know what they are. I don't know what Go Mining is. What's that? $9 million in the last 24 hours in transactions. Okay. I don't know what their utility is. I like to go to meme coins, right? Baby Dogecoin, $8.5 million in the last 24 hours. What does Baby Dogecoin do for the crypto community? I have no idea. What utility is it? Is it good? Is it bad? I don't know. What's Moonbirds? How did Moonbirds do $406 million in the last 24 hours? How's that even possible? Like, I don't even see how that's possible. $83 million market cap. Now, I'm sure they don't do that every day. There's no way they're doing that every day. But that's just crazy numbers coming from projects. Do you think any of these projects, let alone try to pick out one, right? But any of these projects, do you believe they're helping the shiny object syndrome, the problem? Do you think they're going to help solve the #1 problem in crypto? Do you think they're going to help? Do you think any one of these projects have a reason for people, for their token holders to come back every 2 weeks? Do they care? Let me go back to Bitcoin real quick. Just take a look at Bitcoin. Okay, Bitcoin is king daddy, right? Bitcoin. Okay, as Bitcoin goes, so goes the market. Look what Bitcoin's done in the last month. It's down. Do you know what this means? If you don't already know in crypto, most of you do. But if you don't already know what this means, that means if Bitcoin looks like this, every project looks like that. Let's look at Solana. Another #7 project in the world, right? Looks pretty similar, doesn't it? Look at the Solana chart. Looks almost exactly like Bitcoin. So you know that as Bitcoin goes, so goes the market. Let's take a look at Ethereum if I need to keep showing you. Check this out. Oh, look at that chart. Looks almost the same, doesn't it? Almost exactly the same. And if you look at, any of those, like Dogecoin, this is the king daddy of meme coins. What's it doing? Well, how's its chart? Look, almost the same, right? Down, down, down. This is what I truly believe that's remarkable about what we're bringing to the table, because none of those projects are any more than, as far as, now remember, I'm not saying they don't have utility. There's lots of wonderful, incredible crypto projects with fantastic utilities, right? But let's face it, the reality is if the token's not going up, people are going to sell it. If the people don't like the token, or if they've made their profit, they're going to make their profit, and then they're going to go look for another investment or another opportunity. That's the way it is in every single crypto project in the world. But I'm telling you folks, in my opinion, without giving you financial advice, not so with Sosana, because this is going to be a project where let me just ask you a question. Why would people care that Bitcoin has gone from $125,000 a coin to $75,000 a coin if we're going to have a new vote and a new project come out every 2 weeks? Who's going to say, no, you know what? Bitcoin went down 20% this week. I'm not going to vote. Who's going to say that? Who's going to say, I don't want to vote for the next Sosana potential that could be coming out from the community? Nobody's going to say that.
Nobody will.
And that's the reason why we truly believe that Sosana can really transcend the industry with what we're doing. And if you're looking at it, you asked an excellent question, Professor. Why aren't we at $100? Because people don't know about us yet. Number one, we haven't had our first election. Number two, nobody knows about us still. We're still in our infancy. But the more elections that we have and the bigger the community gets, the faster it's going to grow. That's just what's going to happen. And the faster it grows, it's going to bring more transactions into that DGen voter pool. And that DGen voter pool is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's going to get so big, it's almost scary in my mind. Because what are you going to do? What are we going to do with those kind of volumes that I showed you in those random projects, folks? I'm talking about random projects that don't even have that much utility, right? Just random projects. I'm trying to get back to that. Check this out. All these random projects here. Now, this is the top 100 listings, but I'm trying to go, heck, let's just go to the meme coins. Let's make it easy. Go to the meme coins. And you're not going to believe some of the volumes that some of these meme coins with almost no utility are putting out. Look at these volumes. Look at Pepe. Look at that. $500 million in the last 24 hours for Pepe. Good night. That is crazy. These volumes. We don't even need that to make an impact. We don't need near that to make an impact. But I believe we're going to see things like that happen. I believe this is a top 10 project in the making. I really believe it. I'm not just saying it for hype. I'm not giving financial advice. I'm just telling you what's coming from the heart. I just don't see us not being successful with this mechanism because people are going to want to keep coming back to it. What makes a project grow more than having a utility that every single person wants to use and participate in and keep coming back for? There's something brand new every 2 weeks at Sosana, and it's about to happen this Saturday. Just wait. You guys should be telling your friends. Get in there, get your $50. You guys want to become founders. That's another thing. But right now, get your $50 in Sosana and vote. Think about it. Do you realize how non-confrontational that is to just go tell your buddy, hey, get $50 together. Get into this project. No, you don't have to pay to play. All you got to do is hold $50 in this amazing project. How is that not going to go viral? How are people like, I said, nah, I don't want to. I don't like the fit. No, I'm a crypto investor, but I really don't want to hold $50 and find brand new projects every 2 weeks. Who's going to say that? It's just not going to happen, folks. And that's what's going to make this go viral. Let's just take meme coin real quick before we end this call. We're looking at 8 million a day right now coming in. Okay. And as you guys know, our cycle for voting is 14 days. So what does that do? That means we need to come up with what would happen in 14 days. Fine. In 14 days, 8 million times 14 equals 112 million. What's 1% of that? Times 0.01. Let me ask you a question. When's the last time you went on a decentralized exchange in a low market cap project? Oh, a low market cap project and saw a buy for $1.12 million in that project. And not only that, it went out to the people who voted for it. All the people who loved that project voted for it. It's like they came in and bought it. Think about it. They have all these new holders now, brand new holders. We've just expanded. Can you imagine the idea of lifting up a project, a quality project, throwing out the shiny objects and uplifting the quality projects better than that? Can you imagine? I want you guys to really think about that and understand what it is we're about to do this Saturday and come Monday. Just wait. And are we done with challenges? No, we're still going through growing pains. Listen, you guys are here at 25 cents. That is nuts. That is crazy. Okay. We have 88,888,888 tokens in our entire supply right now. Okay. If we get into a multi-billion-dollar market cap, where do you think 25 cents is going to go? I believe that's going to happen. It's up to you if you believe in this vision and what you guys think. You guys got anything else you want to share?
Yeah, I just want to say, so again, Mark, I mean, again, like this vision is so huge. It is. And I always wonder, I mean, again, it's like, we have to go back over and over again and say it over and over again so people get it. But you and I talked about this, you know, tomorrow we're going to do a professional PowerPoint overview of the entire Sosana vision, soup to nuts. So you guys can actually have the visuals with it. We will then get some of the feedback from the leadership about that PowerPoint, making the adjustments we need to make, and then we'll start sharing with the leaders so they can start doing their own presentations, etc. So we can take this into high gear. We are excited about what's coming. Mark's got so many videos that he's recording right now that are going to really start teaching people, educating them, allowing them to increase their skill set. And this is like on the precipice of being massive. It really is. And I know we've said it before, and we've said it over and over again. I also know that when this is at $2 or $3 or $4 or $5, there's going to be some people that can come to us and say, "Why didn't you do a better job of explaining to us that we should have put all in with that 25 cents? You know, if I would have known, I would have taken a second mortgage on my, you know." And I'm not asking anybody to do that. I'm just saying somebody's going to say that kind of stuff to us later, and then we're going to have to ask ourselves, like, are we crazy? Did we not do a good job of trying
to tell you?
Yeah. So it's we are, if we seem excited, it's not manufactured, guys. We are tremendously excited about what's happening. But tomorrow, if you have prospects that you want to bring to the call, it will not be an update call. I'm just telling you that right now. It's going to be a presentation call. We're going to record it so that we have that recording as well. Definitely bring your prospects to the call tomorrow. They'll be able to see everything that's going on here. It's going to be pretty exciting. So just want to share it with everyone. And we'll put that in Telegram as well.
Yeah, Brian always produces nothing but quality in his words and in what he does. And that's why we're so thankful that he's on the team. And I just want to say we are really thankful that all of you guys came to the call tonight. We're looking at 88 people in this call right now. I just want you to remember that. 88 people. It is February 3rd. And there's 88 people on this call. It's crazy. It's so small. Because one day you're going to look up and you're going to go, wow, there's 8,800 people on this call. And then there's going to be 88,000 people on this call. And it's going to be real. And I'm telling you guys, it's going to happen. You know, good things start small. It's very, very common. But there's a lot of projects out there that you would have had no idea. I mean, Shiba. I remember when Shiba came out, and this is one of my horror stories, is that I bought Shiba. Ethereum was worth about $1,500 in Ethereum at the time. And someone came to me and said, yeah, Shiba's going to be the next Doge. Like, you got to buy it, man. It's awesome. It's going to be great. I didn't know that. I didn't know that Doge was like the Bitcoin of meme coins and Shiba was going to be the Ethereum. I didn't know that. So I bought $1,500 worth. And I'm not kidding you. I waited about 2 weeks. And I wasn't getting on any of their, now, of course, they didn't have calls. They didn't do calls like we do. They didn't have a dev team that came out and talked to you guys, and they weren't as transparent, but they still had this thing going. It was kind of an Asian kind of thing. And I just didn't know. And where people lack vision is where they perish. This is where they fall. This is where they don't know what they're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, anything's possible, right? So 2 weeks later, I sold my Shiba to buy some junk shiny object. So dumb. And it wasn't probably a week or two later when Shiba just utterly exploded. I couldn't believe it. It was just like, boom. And it was like, and if this thing was going to be such a great project, why did it take so long? Right? And I know there's a lot of people that might have asked that about Sosana. If Sosana is going to be so great, why isn't it already great? Well, that was the professor asked an awesome question, because people just don't know yet. Just there isn't enough people that know. And the more elections that we have, the more people experience this process, the more they're going to not be able to shut up about it. They're going to be like, whoa, can you picture this? I mean, we have an election. People get an airdrop. They win. Some people take advantage if they think. Now, again, I'm not going to guarantee any success when it comes to the tipping point. What you guys are going to decide to do with that, that's up to you, okay? There's going to be some great stories that come out of that. And there's going to be some people that come out and say, well, I didn't quite time it right. Whatever. That's going to happen. But the reality is there's going to be winners every 2 weeks. No matter what, there's going to be winners. And these winners, we're going to hold calls with some of these winners. We're going to have testimonial calls recorded on our YouTube channel with these winners that got airdropped a token just for voting for it. And those videos, believe me, the more and more videos that we put out like that, the more marketing we do, the more, recruiting people do in the affiliate plan. All of these things are going to work together in your favor. And David's even going to open up some marketing, right? We've got marketing to do for our community. There's so many things we're about to do, and you just got to see it before it happens if you want to get in now. You guys are so fortunate to be here right where you are now. And I think you're about to find out really soon. It's going to be so fun to watch how this thing progresses. And again, I want to reiterate, we are new. There's going to be more challenges, okay? But eventually we're going to get to a point where there aren't any more challenges. There's no more technical issues. There's nothing, and everything's just running smoothly. And when that happens, folks, look out. The ship's going to sail and it's not going to come back. So congratulations to everybody that's on this call right now, because I think you're in an amazing spot. Again, it's not financial advice, but I'm telling you, I believe in my heart that you're in a very special place. And I'm just telling you guys, get some more people on this call. Come back to the call tomorrow. I won't be here, but Brian will be. He's got something special for you guys. And then make it back to the Thursday night call where I will be here. And bring your friends to find out about what they could do with $50. Just put $50 together, get your Sosana tokens, and get involved. That's it. It's a pretty non-confrontational way to share it. So thanks again for everybody coming on tonight. We will see you guys. Brian will be here Wednesday night, and I'll see you guys back Thursday night. We'll see you guys. You guys have a great night.
Good night, everybody.